Very, very solemn moment right there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Next Issue podcast. We are back today. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. No holidays today, as far as I'm aware. Especially no holidays owned by the Disney Corporation.
Yet,
But
so this one's still available.
Wait, no, it is a holiday today.
What's today?
It is HBOMax coming back day.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I'll say this: I never called it Max.
I never did either.
It feels like it was too much of an effort. As a matter of fact, I don't even like saying HBO Max. I prefer HBO. Like, it's just HBO. Like,
It's just
that's
HBO.
the main brand. It's not TV. It's HBO.
HBO Go.
See, that was okay because it's like, okay, well, that's the app. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Differentiate from the TV, but it's all one thing now. It's all, I don't know. Let us know what you call HBO in your household. All right. On today's show, we got a lot to talk about. We have a Superman trailer, a new trailer to talk about. We also have 2025 Eisner nominations. We'll talk about the Eisners and what those are. We also watched a bunch of things. Some of us read a bunch of comics. And then, of course, if we have time, we'll do a comic review for something coming out next week. So let's just get into it. And did you guys already watch the Superman trailer that came out this week?
Mm-hmm.
It came out so late in the day. Because I was hoping it would come out really early before I had to leave for the office so I could shoot a quick video. Nope. It came out like at noon or something, our time in Texas. And then I was like, well, I got to stay away from the internet now for 5 more hours till I get home and I can log off of work. And
DC once again separates themselves from Marvel because Marvel likes to do their releases at like 4 a.m. for some reason.
And kind of, because this time around, the Ironheart trailer that they also dropped, it was also in the middle of the day. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's flipping the switches over there.
I wonder if they have it set up for Asia. Honestly, if the trailer goes live for the East,
and Australia, start over there and just catch.
Yeah, exactly.
Just ride the wave as the time zones. Hit Europe as they come up, and
you know what? They'll stop doing that once all those movie tariffs kick in. So
I think we should just get rid of time zones and everybody get on the same clock.
That'd be amazing. I would definitely go for that.
That'd be
People
weird,
are like, why are you eating dinner at 3:30 a.m.? So,
well, what if we get the shitty time slot and
yeah,
all right. Maybe time zones are a good idea. I don't know. Let us know in the chat how you feel. Daylight savings times is not a good idea. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah.
But maybe time zones are a good idea.
I would just for daylight savings, it should all just be I think it should just be move it by 30 minutes. Because one, that'll mess everybody up. But two, I feel like that's obviously the happy medium between the 2 hours.
Also, can we get Arizona on board? It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's weird having a mountain time or whatever. I remember as a kid growing up, I'd watch the TV and they'd throw out mountain time. I was like, which mountain? What does that mean? This was before the advent of the internet that I could just go look it up. The internet was around. It was just not very accessible via dial-up. It would take too long to research what mountain time was.
It is weird because I will sometimes watch sports, and sometimes I will be out on the West Coast and watching a football game live at 9 a.m. is the weirdest thing when you're not used to it. You're just why is everybody up so early playing football? Everybody's fully dressed.
I just want to acknowledge Danny's backhanded slight there, which is, as a kid, the internet still existed. It just wasn't very accessible. I lived well before the internet, so when I was a kid.
We had to wait for Al Gore to invent it. So
yes, exactly. You know, he personally laid all those pipes and tubes.
Yeah.
You know, I think he nailed it with the internet. I wish he hadn't invented global warming, but here we are.
Here
I
we
think
are.
the two go hand in hand almost. I feel
yeah,
like one powers the other.
Exactly.
exactly.
Let me ask ChatGPT what it thinks about that. While we use 6 gallons of water to answer this question. So all right. Anyway, like I said, 6 minutes in, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. First of all, I think we should be able to rewatch the trailer. So we're gonna check out the trailer for Superman. It is a 3-minute trailer if you haven't seen it. If you're watching this on demand, we may have removed the actual trailer from the replay of this, but we'll cut it out into a different video, so you can check it out. Josh, your camera ready? You good? Is that a better angle?
Yeah.
It is very weird because I don't. It almost looks like those paintings that you don't know if the stairs are going up or down.
Oh, yep.
It's hard to tell which way your bookshelves are going.
there's a corner right
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah. So, all right, but let's check out the Superman trailer. And something tells me this movie might be good. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh God, it's so good.
Oof.
Love it.
All right. So some of the things that I really liked here was we get a clue as to what Metamorpho is doing with Luthor, where he has him trapped there, right? Because he makes him turn his hand into kryptonite.
Okay, I wanted to ask about that because there's like a split-second shot of his hand green, and I was like, oh, he's okay. So yeah, all right, that does make sense.
Because in the other trailer, it looked like he was in the cell right next to him, but I think that was just the reflection of him being in the same cell.
And now, can Metamorpho make kryptonite? Because I was into the hold on. But I thought he could only do the chemical compounds within. Who is that? Somebody else that he could do within his own body or something like that.
No, I thought it was anything in the periodic table. So there's got to be some kind of combination of elements on Earth that.
No. I don't know. I don't care. I was just.
You're thinking of what's the other guy? Firestorm, right?
Oh,
I think
Firestorm.
he's got more limitations on stuff.
I'm gonna look this up. I said it as a joke, but now I'm gonna look it up.
Where's Kyle when we need him?
I do like the idea that because I feel like in past incarnations, Luthor has synthesized kryptonite, like it's a fake kryptonite. And now I'm just going to hire this dude over here to turn part of his body into kryptonite. So
hire probably means kidnap and
exactly.
And threaten and blackmail. But now, Josh or Jeff, either one, could you tell the kids who Walter Cronkite is?
Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite was a.
Sorry. Before you go into it, like Lois and Clark still look young enough that they might not even know who Walter Cronkite really.
But if they both went to journalism school, they will have learned about Cronkite. So
really, or was it all like learning about TikToks and the
God, I hope not.
What is it, the under the desk news, or like some of the famous news TikToker people?
But who would you reference as a hard, like a honest news person? Who was the
Diane, what's the from ABC News? She did those interviews, but she also was like
Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters, that's right, Barbara Walters.
That's why we went with Walter Cronkite.
For the kids, and I just threw the link in chat. If you've ever seen anything about JFK's assassination and you see one reporter on screen struggling to take his glasses off to announce it, that's Walter Cronkite. So
they killed JFK?
He killed JFK, and he also landed on the moon.
He killed JFK?
He killed JFK, and he landed on the moon.
He was
Walter Cronkite
behind the fence on the grassy knoll and then ran back to DC to the news cameras. It was quite remarkable.
Wow, that's
why he's out of breath. That's why he had to take off his glasses.
I wasn't not ready to learn this much, and I muted this. I don't care about the. As the world turns, is this like the soap opera he was in?
Yes, yeah. He played a doctor. Weirdly, no, I'm lying. Oh no, he cuts in. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, as the world turns
Stevie,
is
okay.
happening
There you
live.
go. Yeah, this is it. So he cuts into some poor person, person who just wants to know what happens on as the world turns.
Oh.
Yeah,
Is that Walter Cronkite?
That's Walter
From the
Cronkite.
CBS newsroom, complete with rotary telephones and wire machines.
This picture has just been transmitted by wire. It is a picture taken just a moment or two before the incident. If you can zoom in with that camera, we can get a closer look at this picture.
And almost exactly 1 hour
I
after
will say there's a lot happening here because can you imagine having to wait for a wire to get an image of something happening right now?
I know.
Where now we have the opposite problem where we're inundated with images that we don't even know what things could really be or whatever. The second thing, I imagine a more powerful mustache on Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, no, it
just
was
based on Ron
never-
Burgundy.
Yeah, right. It was.
I think it became more pronounced as he aged. I feel like
Okay.
I think in my memory, older Walter Cronkite has
Yeah,
a more pronounced mustache.
I feel like at that era it was more the pencil thin mustache, that was more in vogue. So
Yeah, I guess it is a little thicker later on. Okay, all right.
I feel like Dan Rather would be my answer, the last honest newsman, but he's not famous enough to be called out in a movie.
Yeah, but all right, back to the Superman trailer. I was mentioning I really love in the comics when regular people help Superman do stuff, and when he falls to that crater and that guy helps him kind of get back up.
and
Like I was like, oh yeah, this is cool.
John Williams score kick in.
Yeah. Like I just love those moments like this.
I do. I wasn't kidding when I said I love Ma Kent. I hope that we get, because we've not seen maybe since Smallville, like the first few seasons of Smallville, like has Superman had his parents like the whole time, because in the Christopher Reeve, dad dies like right off the bat,
Right.
And then in the Man of Steel, he waits around for 45 minutes for Pa Kent to get taken by a tornado.
Yeah.
As Kevin Costner's eating a hamburger, being like, no, let the tornado take me. He's finishing his soda as the tornado going 2.5 miles an hour. It's really just one of those devil duster twister things, and he gets something stuck in his eye, and that gets infected, and that's how he died. And then,
Right, yeah.
Jeff, if you ever watched the movie Twister or Twisters, you never know which way the tornado is going to go. So like it's harder for him to. Had he taken a step in the wrong direction, it could have been lights out, which I guess was still lights out, but could have been even sooner.
Look, since it came up, I have to go back to this point, which is fucking Zack Snyder. Superman, we've established, can move as fast as the Flash, right? So all he has to do is wait for the moment the tornado is about to hit his dad, and then go save his dad, and everyone's going to think that like the tornado, like who's going to be paying attention in this moment? I mean, it's so stupid. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Everybody saw Kevin Costner hold his hand up, and then they all directly looked at Clark. So that's why he couldn't move.
Yeah, right.
Like they all turned their attention from the tornado. It's Kevin Costner's fault himself, because he drew the attention. Yeah. Everybody was running from the tornado until he put his hand up, and then they all turned around and looked and waited to see what would happen, which was nothing.
Well, now to actually bring this back around, somebody on social media made the same comment that was my immediate thought when I saw the trailer for the first time, which is I really needed that interview sequence to kind of understand James Gunn's approach, because I think what it showed me, first off, I feel like in this movie, we're going to get the best Lois Lane, and we're going to get the best relationship between her and Clark that we've ever seen on screen. Again, maybe coming back to Superman and Lois, again, I only saw the first episode. I know they were really good in that. But I needed that sequence and their argument and debate going back and forth, because I feel like James Gunn fundamentally gets something about Superman that Zack Snyder didn't. And it's not, I know, I'm sorry, Yanni. It's not just nuance. It is also this idea that Superman is a force of good in a world is not just a binary. It's not just there's good and there's bad. There's all these like layers of complexity in between. And I feel like Gunn's going to explore that. So anyway, I loved, I mean, the minute that sequence started and you kind of see it play out, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm in. Like, this is great. This is
and
good.
what I wonder is what the message might be, because they do kind of talk about how he gets involved in this war zone and he stopped the war and, you know, whatever, maybe. And I wonder if the message isn't going to be like, well, he has superpowers and he can do this stuff, but he chooses to be like, that's always the thing with Superman. He's too powerful. He's good, you know, whatever.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should, right?
Doesn't just because you can mean you should. But he's always striving to do the right thing. And, you know, people are dying. He wants to save lives. That is ultimately the right thing, and he chooses to do the good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that power for across the board, like even though we don't have superpowers, like it's just a matter of us choosing to do the good thing, and that's kind of what Superman is there for. To be like, hey, you know. You can do better yourself. You just choose not to do better, you know, kind of thing. Not in a bad way, but just like in a like you can, you know, there doesn't have to be a war, you know, kind of thing. You can just choose to not have to fight each other. You can just choose to be nice to each other, kind of thing. And
and this goes back to Danny's point earlier, which is when the average person steps in to help Superman, his message is getting through. Right. Mm-hmm. It's not, you know, it's not about that complexity, but I think Gunn recognizing the complexity is really important.
And I think the other thing is that I feel like this interview is going to be kind of the framing device for most of the movie, where we'll go back and look like in between those questions, we'll cut into the full war sequence, right? Or the full sequence where he's fighting this giant, like whatever monster is or whatever. Another thing that we get to see a little bit more. Oh, go ahead, Jeff. Before
you're gonna say, because I feel like people have theorized that this is kind of a like Superman enters a more cynical world, DC universe kind of already pre-set up, where, you know, Amanda Waller's already kind of had her, you know, Suicide Squad kind of light stuff. So it's kind of coming from a dark place where like the Justice League is a commercial entity, not just people doing good for the right, you know, because they all belong to, I mean, they all are employed by Maxwell Lord. So so it's unheard of in this world for Superman to just show up in a foreign country and do good elsewhere without there being some kind of ulterior motive, which is why people are like, well, why are you doing it? Like so I think that goes along with that whole like why is Superman good? Like
I really like how these guys look too. Like I think they look great, but they do look very corporate, because if you look at their outfit, their costumes, they're all like kind of have this similar. It almost looks like Jim Lee drew all these costumes. Remember the New 52? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like in the New 52, all the costumes, because that was a surprise project. Jim Lee redesigned everything, so it all had that same aesthetic, a lot of lines and stuff. I kind of like. It reminds me of Metron's chair. How Terrific's kind of riding around in his whatever this contraption is.
Can you imagine working on this film and then being given the like original Kirby design and being like, all right, we got to make this chair fit in? It's like, the fuck? All right. But you know what, Danny, I did not notice until you put that up that they all have that same kind of like color design.
Well, in this shot, I don't know if it's in every shot. I don't remember from the Peacemaker trailer, because they also show up there. But at least in this shot, they are kind of like this entity of like, you know, under Maxwell Lord, like Jeff was saying. Real quick from Leonard Kim, the interview scene was interesting moment for me. I had fully convinced with Brosnahan's Lois, a bit unconvinced with Cornsweet's Superman. I can't explain it.
I agree with Leonard Kim here, and I think the thing is, I think Cornsweat's going to approach Superman from a much more human, grounded way. In total contrast to, say, Reeves, right? Who was always the perpetual, like, Boy Scout, you know? Very, very metered, very in control with his movement and actions. I think Cornsweat's going to play him very grounded, and we got a lot of that in that. But I had the same thought. I was immediately convinced on Lois, but kind of seeing Cornsweat snap as Clark or Superman, you know, in the interview. But I'm kind of here for it. So
yeah, I like because it indicates it's like a younger Superman, like a younger Clark. He's not
like a year or two, right? Like he's been doing this for a little bit, but he's still not.
Because Reeves came out as like Reeves Superman is like he came out and everybody just loved him. Like in universe, they were all just like, he could do no wrong. It didn't matter what he did. And then you know, the Snyder stuff is like he was so alien to everybody. It was almost the exact opposite. They just didn't know what to make of him. And you just kind
the problem was that other aliens showed up at the same time that were threatening.
Yeah.
Well, a matter of fact, I think in the Man of Steel, you meet the bad aliens first, and they call out Clark, and they kind of bring him out because at that point, Superman was more of an urban legend, right? He was still like he had been fixing stuff, but he wasn't really fully suited up or anything like So one thing that I did like is that when they start the interview and Lois hits the recorder, Cornsweet's his voice changes to Superman's voice. Like it's a subtle change, but like where if we remember watching Superman 2, I think there's a very good scene where they're in the hotel room or whatever, and he's about to tell, like Clark is about to tell Lois who he truly is, and you see Christopher Reeve go from Clark's posture back to Superman's posture, and then back when he realizes that he shouldn't tell her or whatever. So I think there's going to be some subtle things there.
I love that movie. It's in the first movie.
Love that stuff too. We should do Superman 1 and 2 or the Donner cut or something before this film as well, just to rewatch those and maybe have a little show about that. We'll see if we can fit it in. Those might be easier to check out. All right, let me see. Hold on. We haven't seen enough about Lex, other than I feel like Nicholas Hoult is gonna eat that roll up.
Do you think he's a president, or do you think that's a red herring that where she mentions the president, they cut straight to Lex?
I don't think he's a president at the beginning of the here. I love this too.
Teschmacher. That was great.
So funny.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Who is I'm trying to remember, like when Byrne rebooted Superman, there was a blonde reporter.
This is Miss Teschmacher. So she's at
Lex. Is it really? Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know they
I looked it up. Great. I looked it up. I was like, who is this?
That's awesome. Okay.
I thought that was entertainment reporter. I can't remember her name.
It's not Cat Grant. That was my first
Cat Grant. This is Cat Grant. Oh, duh, fuck. I should have realized that because that's from Supergirl.
But it makes sense that she wouldn't be as worried about because the building next to them is on fire. Like he just shot that thing up and destroyed the right. We'll see. Let's see. Real quick from Leonard Kim. Also, whenever I see Fillions Guy Gardner, I get infuriated. I assume that's the point, but man, I want to point. I mean, he is supposed to have a very visual face. I do feel like in this one, in that shot I showed you guys earlier, he looks a little bit cooler. Like the hair, it's just the hair is so weird, but I mean, that's the way that he was designed in the comics, which is like, sometimes do you want to keep the original designs versus, you want to update? I don't know. And Guy Gardner's gotten so many updates throughout the years.
If you remember that Guy Gardner was supposed to be the original Green Lantern, but he was out of range when Abin Sur's ring went to Hal, so he's really supposed to be. This is got a new character I'm developing, and this is
you're workshopping.
I'm workshopping right here today.
Workshop your improv here.
Yeah,
go check out Jeff's show at the Pocket Sandwich Theater in Mockingbird. Yeah. He goes right after the puppet. He goes on right after the puppet.
yeah, exactly.
So, Danny, I do want to go back to something you said because I had not thought of this, and I think it's brilliant. And that is, you're welcome. That is the idea that the interview is the
the framing
connective
device.
tissue of the whole film. And the thing I like about it is I saw somebody online comment about how people are, even with this trailer, trying to figure out how are they going to cram all these characters into a movie about Superman. And I think that's the way you do it. If it's just interstitial, right? It's not like we have to set up all this stuff, or again, throwing shade at Zack Snyder, here's a USB drive with all the footage of the upcoming Justice League on it. I think that's just the way you do it. You just kind of plop them in media res. Woo, boy. I need more coffee.
They almost call us posers over on the literary side.
Yeah.
Oh, like, look at this guy
about me for years, man.
In res media. What? Oh, come on.
One last thing I did want to check out. We get this scene of, just a boy and his dog. But the poster called out to me. I was gonna ask, like, so the Mighty Crabjoys is not a real band.
I have never heard of the Mighty Crabjoys.
No, it's not. I did look it up.
Okay.
I went on Reddit, which, against my better judgment. There were also a reference in the Creature Commandos show. So it's a fake in-universe band, which is funny because obviously.
Third one, do they show up in like?
Is it Black Canaries band?
Let me see. Oh, just another part of the trailer, I think.
Mighty Crabjoys.
These nerds. They look at this like
that's amazing.
One frame at a time. I don't have time for that. I barely have time to watch the trailer.
Yeah, I wonder if we don't. So I wonder if it's just because. So I my roommates were also like, oh, there's too many characters. It looks like it's going to be super confusing and stuff. And I think about like how we watch other movies, and like there are a lot of characters in other movies, but we don't always go into like, well, how am I going to understand this? 12 Angry Men. There's 12 jurors. I have to remember 12 different people's stories.
Ocean's 11.
All the lawyers. Yeah, Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11 was the most confusing movie ever, and it just got more confusing with Ocean's 12, and then they added a 13th person.
I'm like, I think we sometimes overthink these things because Marvel has 437 things, and it all is kind of connected now.
Yeah.
And we've had all this time to. Now we get dropped in the middle of one, but I think sometimes it's just like, look, that's just Hal's just a. I mean, not Hal. It's Guy's just a guy with a power ring. Like
I think
that's all you need to know.
It also goes back to, I think, earlier superhero films, which were always origin films, and so I think when you see that many characters on a screen, the impulse is to assume we're going to get the origin for every single character, right? And I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the smartest thing they did when they brought the Spider-Man into the MCU was not retell the origin. Just, here he is. You guys all know how this dude becomes Spider-Man, right? Yeah. We don't need to do this again. And I think that really broke the mold in a good way. So
yeah, this is why I still haven't watched any of the Expendables movie, because it just seems like way too much backstory.
Yeah, all these old guys too.
All these old guys.
Last thing here, like I said, we don't know what his motivation is other than I hate Superman, and that's all I need from Lex Luthor. Yeah. But just all his mannerisms are really good. I just really love this shot of Lex Luthor. Yeah, I don't know. He might be the best on-screen Luthor we've had since
I don't know. I'm still kind of torn on him. I think he's going to play it really, really broad in a chew the scenery kind of way. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but yeah, I don't know. This kind of comes after watching Nosferatu. And he was fine in it, but he was by no means the best actor in that movie. Now that's a high bar, but
we do have a shot of Josh reacting to the movie here.
Yes. Hey, us bald dudes got to stick together,
That's right.
I don't know why I feel like Nosferatu is a weird thing to judge his acting on, because that's a weird movie.
Yeah, no, that's
like that's a all over the map kind of.
That's an intentionally weird movie, I feel.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's a fair point. So
I do think it's interesting. Josh doesn't like Nicholas Hoult because he's not a real bald person, so he's like, taking jobs away from the ball community. All right. Any last thoughts on here before we move on to the Eisners?
I'm really hyped for this movie. I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air, because when you think about the cinematic portrayals of Superman since the original ones, right? You've got Superman Returns, which was meant to be a direct sequel to Superman 2, and it just didn't work. Man of Steel, which again, I've told this story many times, but in the drive between leaving the theater and getting home, my perception of the movie went from that was great to that was terrible, right? So there was something about it just didn't click or stick well.
You watched it wrong.
I probably did.
We do have some footage of me and Josh discussing Man of Steel. Hold on one second. I'm Superman in this scenario, by the way. Like Josh thinks he's making some great points.
Yeah. All right. I was gonna ask who was who.
Yeah.
You need to take your shirt, buddy.
As much as I would love to be Batman, and I always prefer to be Batman in this one scenario.
But I just feel like Gunn is tapping into something, hopefully, about Superman that's going to be refreshing. So
listen, all I know is that Gunn and Snyder are friends, and they're rooting for each other in whatever they're doing.
Hey, that's fine. That's totally fine. Yeah.
So although this is not really for you, Josh, is more for the angry nerds on the internet that are like, well, whatever, that they don't like anything. So right.
Many of them.
Any last things? Because we're moving on. We're doing pretty good on time, I think. So, and we have a lot to cover with the Eisners. All right. Well, that was our thoughts on Superman, the trailer. There's another reaction video if you want to just see me talk about it without these guys, which I'm not gonna say it's better, I'm not gonna say it's worse, it's just different. So we don't have a Jeffrey. I might throw on the thumbnail if I cut this out, the Jeff reaction thumbnail. That he gave us a few good ones last week.
Yeah.
Time
for that
Josh
first
is
beer
ready for the Eisners. He's cracking some coldies.
It's
a little early for my taste, I will say.
Just sparkling water, my friend.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love that everything. I like that the hydration industry is like, people just love cracking up in cans. Let's just put everything in a can. Water, juice, alcohol. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares about bottles anymore, and cans are more fun to recycle, anyways.
Yeah. You can crush them.
It's fun crushing them. Yeah.
Did you guys ever have my uncle, when he bought his house, somebody had a little can crusher, automatic, but like a little thing that was on the wall, and you just and we were all just fascinated by that, because when he moved into his house, he didn't put it in there, it was just something that came with the house, and we were like, oh, what is that? And we'd just be crushing cans. Now, granted, I was a lot younger when that fascinated me. Maybe it's not as appealing nowadays, although recycling's never not appealing. It's just a lot of hard work. There you go. Leonard Kim, early Brewskis. See, nerds can go hard. Yeah.
Thank you, Leonard Kim.
I did buy some cola at the Whole Foods that looks like beer, because it's in the glass bottles.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll go get one for later.
This is where I find out Josh is actually drinking straight THC, kind of he's ready.
If you watch It's Always Sunny, I filled this with red wine, so I can just go. There you go. Red wine,
we are open to a Liquid Death sponsorship if you guys are watching.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
Like I said, we love water in a can. All right. Now the Eisners. Let's talk about the Eisners, because all the nominations came out, and there are two ways of looking at the Eisners. Let me tell you exactly what they are. The Eisners are the biggest award in the comic book industry. You can kind of think of it as the Oscars for the Eisners. There's other awards that happen at other conventions, but this one happens at the big San Diego Comic-Con. It's voted on by this group of people that nobody knows who's really composed of, but I think there's comic creators in there. There's comic shop retailers, comic journalists. I have looked into applying multiple times. I don't know. We don't fall into the journalism category for some reason. But maybe I'll try again this year.
But wait till they see my character work.
Yeah, yeah, right. Wait till we introduce this Jeff in there. Does it have a name? Jeff? Do you have a name? You still
No, we're still, yeah.
Okay,
leave comments. Leave comments.
Leave some comments of us to nerds, the Jeff's nerd character there. But the way I like to look at the Eisners is like it's a recommendation list of things you should read that you probably might have missed out on the next year. So we'll talk about that. We'll go through some of these as we kind of we'll just go through some of them. So you guys have the list pulled up. I'll tell you which category, and then if you want, we'll take turns reading it. We're not going to go through every category. There's some really stuff that gets very in the weeds. Like there's a lot of publication for children and really some stuff that we don't cover in the channel, and we probably wouldn't be aware of anyway, just because of the target age group. There's a lot of academic stuff which Josh might be really into.
Oh, I'm super into.
So if there's any standouts, let us know. But I don't know that we'll go in depth covering all those. We're gonna kind of.
I'll certainly bring them up because I do want to note that is one thing about the Eisners I think is really unique is that for an industry award, and I feel like they started doing this maybe 20 years ago. I could be wrong, but they began incorporating scholarly and academic work in as well, which I think was so important because it bridges these two different aspects of the field that are very closely related, right? As somebody kind of tangentially in comic studies, I have not met a single scholar in comic studies who is not a rabid comics fan, like who just reads comics on the regular. All of us do. So
you guys all have rabies?
Yes. Which I think is what makes it comics, so
I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life, but there's a vaccine for that. You just got to get it early enough.
I refuse to get shots in my stomach. All right, so not happening.
I don't think they do that anymore.
Oh really?
I will say.
Oh shit! I'll go get
it. I think shot technology has improved where you don't have to get them right in the belly button.
Oh, thank God!
All right. Because
now it's right in the neck.
Yeah,
in the eye.
Yeah, it's straight in the ear.
When I was a kid, I got bit by a dog, and I had to get rabies shots.
Oh.
And my big fear was because my older cousin told me, like, they have to shoot, like, they do like a bunch of shots in your stomach, right?
Yeah.
Because I guess that's the way they used to do it. But I never got shots in the stomach, or maybe I never got the rabies vaccine. I don't know. Either way, I haven't died of rabies yet.
Yeah.
So
dodge that bullet.
Well, for now,
maybe you just bit the dog back.
It was a little dog too, and I was just it was my fault. I teased the dog. Huh?
Was it Crypto?
No. I wish. Maybe I would have gotten superpowers.
Ace. Yeah, Ace looks like a dog that's just gonna bite everyone. So,
but usually those dogs are the ones that don't bite. The more mean looking ones. They really got the rough end of the stick there. But anyways, back to the Eisners. God, this show.
I totally derailed us.
Let's see if this is a good. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out the best. No, that's not a good layout. I think we'll just go with the old. Yeah, this is the best one. Okay. So let's start with there we go. Eisner for best short story. I haven't heard of a lot of these, but we have Anything Sinister from Fantagraphics, Day 1703 from Desert Island, Pig by Fantagraphics, and that's probably one of the reasons I haven't heard of these because I don't read a lot of Fantagraphics. We do have Spaces by Phil Jimenez in the DC Pride 2024. That's one I have read. Water I've Loved Moving Day. What is this from? From Mother Magazine. And then You Cannot Live on Bread Alone by Fantagraphics as well.
There are three. Yeah, now number 13.
Yeah, that one. This best short story. Like, I only know Spaces from the DC Pride anthology from last year.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any knowledge on any of these? No, we'll zoom through these.
Nope.
Okay. Jeff, you want to read?
Chris Ware is pretty cool.
I do like Chris Ware. Yeah.
You want to read Best Single Issue one shot?
Yeah, I'm gonna read off my phone. We've got Abortion Pill Zine, a community guide to, I'm not going to try to pronounce those, Miss Stepaphone, Ice
you've
Cream
never
Man
seen
number
The Pit.
39. That's right. I've never seen The Pit. Ice Cream Man number 39. Decompression in a Wreck Part 1. Pee Pee Poo Poo by Carolyn Cash. Sunflowers by Keezy Young. Unwholesome Love by Charles Burns. And War on Gaza by Joe Sacco from Fantagraphics.
Can I just ask a stupid question? This is best single issue or one shot, and Ice Cream Man number 39 is Decompression in a Wreck Part 1. So how does this qualify?
I think it's a one-shot story. I think the part 1 is kind of playing around with the title. Because I did read it. Because after this, you get another one-shot, and I agree with you. This is it is best single issue too, right? So
yeah,
they could just be grabbing a best single issue out of that. But I love
Ice Cream Man. Is this the one where they move into the house?
It's not. It's before that. If it's before that one, I think. Okay. It's really weird because like there was a run of Ice Cream Man that they were all little one shots that were really good, but also very depressing because they dealt with a lot of real world stuff. And just in a quick tangent, WMax Prince and Martin Morasso will be doing a Superman book for DC Black Label.
I saw that. That's insane, and I am so excited for that.
So and also Chris O'Halloran, who's the colorist. So the Ice Cream Man team is going to be doing a miniseries. And then, of course,
based on Kryptonite, like it's about the different shades of Kryptonite. I believe.
Kryptonite spectrum, it's called. Yeah, it's gonna be very cool. Well, we're gonna talk about it in the show for sure. And then Carolyn Cash, we read the Godzilla versus Chicago story that they did. I haven't read a lot of their work, but I hear great things about Pee Pee Poo Poo number 1.
I've heard good things about Pee Pee Poo Poo as well. Yeah, it keeps popping up in my news feed.
Yeah, and then I follow Keezy Young on Blue Sky. But I also don't know a lot about their work. I just really like their posts are very interesting. So, all right. Josh, you want to read Best Continuing Series?
Absolutely. All right. So we have The Department of Truth by James Tynion IV and Martin.
That's James Tynion on the phone for Josh.
Yeah, sorry. He said, say my name right. That's from Image. Detective Comics, Detective Comics by Ram V. A whole bunch of people. That's from DC. This one I saw him announce on Threads. Very excited. Fantastic Four by Ryan North, Carlos Gomez, and others from Marvel. I hope that one wins. Santos Sisters by Greg and Fake. Floating World. Ultimate Spider-Man by Hickman. Marco Cicchetto and others. That's from Marvel. And then Wonder Woman by Tom King and Daniel Semperi? I should know how to pronounce his name. Okay.
This is a tough category because I read
very tough category.
I read all these except for Santos Sisters. I have read Santos Sisters in the past, but it doesn't come out. It comes out quarterly, I think, almost.
Yeah, Santos Sisters is like the one really oddball out of all of these because every single one of the, I mean, except for Department of Truth, which is in it. Well, first off, everything is Marvel DC except for Department of Truth.
Yeah,
and Santos Sisters. But yeah, Santos Sisters, I have like one issue of it that I picked up somewhere along the way, and I see it like very rarely.
Yeah, it's like a little fun play on like Archie comics, but it's about these two sisters that are kind of like the Hardy Boys or those mystery solve, the Scooby-Doo gang, stuff like that, but in an Archie kind of style. Our friends over at Read Comic Books actually talked to both the creators, Greg and Fake. If you want to check that out. Josh, you want Fantastic Four to win?
I do.
I'm torn between Spider-Man and Wonder Woman just because I love both of them. I mean, I also really like Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and you guys have all spoken highly about Ultimate Spidey and actually the whole current Ultimate run. I just haven't gotten into it because
those trades are coming out.
All of them. So I couldn't. The Ron V Detective run, I can get through it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know it's loved and lauded. I couldn't do it. Department of Truth. I like James Tynion, and we'll get into his new book later on, which I absolutely love. Department of Truth, I burned out on. I like Ultimate Spider-Man and Wonder Woman, but I feel like Fantastic Four really does deserve the win because I love he put so much like real life science into the books.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
you actually learn by reading the Fantastic Four.
And again, I can't speak for Ultimate Spidey. Might be like this, but out of all these books, Fantastic Four is the one you could hand someone any issue practically, and they would just read it and enjoy it. I mean, except for like the few like two-parters in there, it feels like reading a classic comic, and I think that's a wonderful thing and should be lauded. So
yeah, even the tie-ins to the events feel like really fun standalone things.
Yeah.
All right. Best limited series, we have Alan Scott Green Lantern from DC Comics, Animal Pound from Boom Studios, The Deviant from Image, Helen of Windhorn from Dark Horse Comics, Rare Flavors from Boom Studios, and Satana Bring Down the House from DC Comics.
That's
another really tough category because I think I've read 4 out of these 6 books, and Rare Flavors is definitely on my list to read, as well as the Alan Scott Green Lantern book.
I like Rare Flavors for this only because it has recipes.
It's not just a comic; it's a cookbook. I agree. I will say that.
That's cool. I mean, I kind of want Helena Windhorn to win, but I also really want Zatanna to win because I thought that miniseries was great. So
I keep it close by all the time.
I love Javier Rodriguez art.
This is a hardcover. Yeah,
I need to pick up the hardcover.
Gorgeous. You do need to pick it up, Josh. I agree.
Helen of Windhorn upset me because I did not expect it to end at issue 5. And I was like, I strapped in for the long haul, and then at the end of issue 5 was like, and it's over. And so I was just like, I felt like it kicked the breath out of me, you know?
Yeah.
Tom King going like this.
Right.
right.
I 100% agree with you, Jeff. And that's kind of my complaint about a lot of series these days, is that it feels like they're going to be ongoing and then they just end. And
they said they will come back. Yeah, they will come back with more Helen of Windhorn, but it won't be like this but this is a very much a close story. I know.
Yeah, I feel like the industry is in a place where everything is a limited series.
I think that's a publisher thing because like publishers are like, you get 5 issues and that's it.
5 issues, or well, it used to be 6.
Yeah,
now it's 5. Except what threw me was Welcome to the Maynard, which was 4 issues. Yeah. Right? Like I finally read that 4th issue thinking there's going to be one more, and then it just ended, and I'm like, the fuck is this? So yeah.
Hotels close all the time, Josh.
And my problem with the Deviant is that it's been coming out for the last 3 years.
But it's so good. It's like good. What If True Detective was even more fucked up. All right. Jeff, you want to hit Best New Series?
Best New Series. Absolute Batman from DC Comics, Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta. Absolute Wonder Woman also from DC Comics by Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman. Minor Arcana from Boom Studios by Jeff Lemire. The Pedestrian from Magma Comics by Joey Esposito and Sean Von Gorman. The Power Fantasy from Image Comics by Kieran Gillen and Casper Wingard. And Uncanny Valley from Boom Studios by Tony Fleece and Dave Watcher.
Man, that is a tough category.
I know.
I am pleased The Pedestrian is in there. I know I didn't finish or read up to the current issue. But I read
you were the one reading that. That's right.
Yeah.
With it looks like somebody's like jogging towards you in the cover, right?
The cover of the first issue, which I noticed they also used for the collection, that cover should just win an award. It is so good. It's a great concept. So I'm really pleased to see that got a nom. Yeah. You guys have been raving about Uncanny Valley, or Jeff has, I guess.
I kind of petered out on it. Like it kept going.
But Jeff's still reading. You're reading the other one, right? It's the cats, the Feral. I think that one you're.
I'm still reading Feral, and I do like.
Which is
I like
by Tony Fleece as well.
Yeah.
Is that a spinoff, or is it just 2 different?
No, it's
its own thing. It's its own thing.
Feral is more like Stray Dogs, which is also a Tony Fleece book.
And
Feral is Walking Dead for cats.
Yeah.
I guess I just need to bite the bullet and read these fucking Absolute books, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
I love Absolute Wonder Woman. It is. I've not read everything on this list of the things that I Absolute Wonder Woman is my favorite.
The trades should be coming out soon, Josh, for a lot of these.
Cool.
Or $10 a month gets you the DC Unlimited Ultra whatever membership. I know it's a lot, but if you get it for 1 month, catch up on a bunch of things and then drop it. Real quick from the Hudsonizer on the chat, I've got to read more comics. Yes, this is this list that we're talking about is a great recommendation list, because these are like, and the Power Fantasy is freaking fantastic. I know people kind of blew it out of proportion as the next Watchmen after reading just the first issue, and we talked about it, and it's fantastic. And I've read the first volume, and it's really good. So yeah.
Anyone read?
We're gonna skip. Yeah. Go ahead.
Arcana?
I'll find the next category in the meanwhile.
Yeah, I keep seeing it advertised, and it looks interesting, and it is Jeff Lemire, who I like, but I never.
Oh, Minor Arcana.
Yeah.
Yeah, Minor Arcana, really cool. All right, who's next? Josh, can you read Best Anthology?
Best Anthology. Oh, first one, super hyped. I was gonna be pissed if none of these got a nom. So EC Cruel Universe from Oni Press, Godzilla's 70th Anniversary from IDW. Now the new comics anthology. Weirdly, only issue 13 has been getting all these noms. I don't know if it's because, like, did the previous issues come out years before? Maybe were they not?
They might be. Yeah, this might be like a long, like a long running series from Fantagraphics.
All right. Peep #1 from Braindead Kyle Ning.
NG. I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. So Buttons #14, Life and Death from So Buttons Comics. So I've only read Cruel Universe, but I'm a huge, as you guys well know, I'm a huge fan of this EC revival. So
same here.
Yeah.
I also really love that for the anthologies, it's the editors that get that kind of get the spotlight. That's very, very cool. Definitely if Wonder Woman's a great place to start, either Absolute or the regular one. Yeah, you can now get your Wonder Woman in Absolute or regular, and they're both very good.
Even though I'm not reading Tom King's Wonder Woman, I follow him on Threads. One of the things he always does is he posts without permission art pages as they come in for upcoming issues without any like dialogue or like captions on them. So it's just like, here's a beautiful page from an upcoming issue. DC did not give me the rights to post this. And I'm always like, oh, maybe I should read this. So
yeah. All right.
Oh, wait, go back.
Which one? Did you want to do?
Can I do the academic scholarly work? Okay. So again,
this is your one get in the show.
This is my one get. Again, I just want to give a plug for the fact that the Eisners does this, right? So for best academic scholarly work, we have Comics and Modernism, History, Form, and Culture, edited by Jonathan Naharayan. Ooh, I'm sorry,
Naharayan, maybe?
From Mississippi Press, which has a great comic studies line. I need to read that book. It's in my to read list. Drawing in the Feminine, Bande Dessinée and Women, edited by Margaret C. Flynn from Ohio State.
From Ohio State University. I like the football players. Yeah.
They also have a really good comic studies line, but it's not as
if they presented the nominations like with the football players like that, that would be very interesting.
It would be. Would they pick the players from the classes they took with these academics?
No, I think it'd be funnier if it was the actual the professors or whoever's putting all this together, like the academics themselves, but they still go for it, doing the cool football player stand.
University of Mississippi, and then he's there and he's holding up the book.
Yeah, holding the book. Yeah.
Yeah. From Gum Wrappers to Richie Rich, The Materiality of Cheap Comics by Neil Barnholden, which I also need to read. This is all research-related stuff.
Oh, that's also from Mississippi. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, they have a great line. These are all either Ohio State, Mississippi, and one from Rutgers. Petrochemical Fantasies, The Art and Energy of American Comics by Daniel Warden. That's Ohio State. Singular Sensations, A Cultural History of One-Panel Comics in the United States by Michelle Ann Abbott, Rutgers. I need to read that one too. So out of these, 5 nominations, 3 of them I need to read. So Anyway.
Well, let us know. Keep us updated, and let us know who you think is gonna win too if you read them before.
Ooh, yeah, that's a honestly that's a really tough one.
All right.
Jesus,
If
I
you
don't know.
If you scroll back up one category,
Mhm.
the best comics related books.
That's also
This is
a good
actually
one.
kind of this is also a good one because you've got best best comic book chronicles 1945 to
That's a
1949.
great series.
Kate Caru's America's First Great Women Cartoonist.
Eddie
Q&A by Adrian Tomine or Tomine, drawn in Quarterly. Reading Love and Rockets by Mark Sobel. Love and Rockets is a long time great indie comic. Tell Me a Story Where the Bad Girl Wins, Life and Art of Barbara Sherman by Caitlin McGurk. Caitlin McGurk is on a show that YouTube show that I watch where they do Saturday morning cartoons on occasion, where they talk about like old Saturday morning cartoons and whatnot. She's great. And then Donald Duck, The Ultimate History by Daniel Kosenschulz.
I think that's Daniel Duck's pen name.
Yeah.
That's why the last name is so hard to pronounce because it's just Duck speak.
Duck speak.
Yeah. Okay.
That Donald Duck always gets those old Donald Duck comic strips always get a lot of those are lauded by cartoonists.
We have some web
best writer.
Okay, here we go. Best writer. I'll go to best writer since you guys just intervened there.
We totally threw off the order.
No, it's fine. There's no order here. This is chaos. This is how this show is run by chaos and whatever fumes of effort we can muster on Saturday mornings. All right, best writer. We have Tom King, who's written things like Archie, Animal Pound, Helena Windhorn. You know Tom King. We also have Ram B, Rare Flavors, Dawn Runner. We also have Kelly Thompson, Absolute Wonder Woman, Scarlet, Venom War. She's also doing Birds of Prey. James Tynion the Fourth, writing half of the comics on your shelf. And Jean Liu Young who wrote the Lunar New Year love story. First Second also did a lot of really cool stuff. I think Gene also adapted the Superman Fights the Klan book from the radio show.
Yeah.
This is, and there's so many other writers that should probably be called out here as well. But man, oh man, what a tough category.
Yeah, what an interesting. So it's just like a accumulation of everything they've written for the year, I guess, and they're like, well, these are the best.
Well, but
I guess so.
Kelly Thompson's writing Black Cloak. They didn't refer to that, right?
Yeah, I guess maybe that was on hiatus for the period, or maybe they just put in as many things as they can, right?
Yeah, it could be.
They're just
But I do find this list a little frustrating, honestly, because first off, where the hell is Ryan North? Personally, right? That dude is currently carrying,
Marvel. Yeah. Mark Waid. Where's Mark Waid?
Where's Mark Waid?
He's the architect of the DC universe right now.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
It's tough. We should put our own Eisners together.
Yes.
We'll call them the real Eisners. With no credentials, no recognition. We're just going rogue. The way comics
We're gonna spell it EYEZNER.
We're just gonna replace the S's with Z.
Eisner. Yeah.
It's based off this guy we know, Gil Eisner.
There's your name for your character.
That's pretty good. I mean, Gil's definitely pretty good. I don't know about Eisner's, but all right. Jeff, you want to hit best writer artist?
Best writer artist, we've got Charles Burns, Comics, Fantagraphics, Final Cut, Pantheon, Unwholesome Love, co-published with his Partners and Sons. Emil Ferris, my favorite thing is Monsters Book 2 from Fantagraphics, which I see in the stores all the time. I've not read it though.
So good. So good.
John Macy, Juna, Street Noise Books. Paco Roca, Return to Eden, Fantagraphics. Oliver Schwarin, Sunday, Fantagraphics. Maria Sweeney, Brittle Joints, Street Noise Books. I'm not familiar with any of these.
Other than
My
outside of
takeaway
Charles
from
Burns and
this-
Emma Ferris, I'm not very familiar.
Yeah. My takeaway from this is I need to read. I need to look into Street Noise books, because if you look at the list, everything is Fantagraphics, and two of them are Street Noise books. So
these are like the indie of indie comics. Like this is another degree removed of indie comics. These are very much like either self-published people that eventually get with a publisher like Fantagraphics or First Second or Street Noise, somebody like that.
I will say, if Emil Ferris does not win this, I will have a shit fit.
I mean, they worked on that book forever, right? They worked on that book forever and ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 volumes. You can now read the complete thing, and it's fucking amazing. Yeah. It's so good.
Do they stream the Eisners now?
Sometimes they do.
So.
I think so.
Okay.
Sometimes they do on the San Diego Comic-Con YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
So, at least they did. I think they started after COVID, and they just kind of kept doing it because they're like, "Oh, people will watch this." Okay. All right. Josh, you want to hit best penciler / inker or penciler inker team?
You son of a bitch. Okay, let's see if I can pronounce any of these. For best penciler,
these are pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Jesus Christ. Felipe Andrade for Rare Flavors, Boom Studios. Nick Dracata for Absolute Batman, DC. Please jump in and correct my pronunciation on any of these, you guys. Bilquis Evely for Helen of Windhorn, which, so good. Manu Larsenet for The Road. That's from Abrams Comics Arts. Javier Rodriguez for Zatanna Bring Down the House from DC. And Lewin Pham for Lunar New Year Love Story from First Second.
Which I think is the Yin Yu Yang book that we talked about earlier. So
right.
I'm glad that that must be a really good book if the book got nominated for it.
This is a hard one because I kind of want Emily to win, and I kind of want.
Yeah, me too. I'm a little biased. I love her artwork.
Yeah, but I did love Rodriguez's work on Zatanna. It was really good.
And Andrade's work.
I can't wait till Jim Lee's back out here next year.
With
Jim Lee and Scott Williams. Hush 2.
Jim Lee, Scott Williams. Hush 2.
You know what? Wait, this is really weird because it's best penciler inker or penciler inker team. There's not a single team on here. Well, it's just penciler inker.
Well, those teams need to get good. I guess it also tells you a little bit about maybe one person doing both things is more cohesive and gives you a better product. Unless you are,
you don't see too many like
working forever.
Yeah. There's not, the inkers aren't like most artists. I feel like the industry has shifted to having just one person do art.
Yeah,
like an artist kind of thing.
That makes sense. I thought a lot of these, Jim Lee because he's got that inker he always works with.
Scott Williams,
Scott Williams, thank you.
I hope Klaus Johnson still has work.
Yeah.
God, is he still alive? Do I need to Google this?
No, he's still alive.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. All right, best cover artist.
Ooh,
Juni Ba for The Boy Wonder.
Those are great covers. Great covers.
Juni Ba, great cover artist. I mean, great interior artist too. But Evan Cagle, Don Rorner, New Gods, Bilquis Evely. I mean, I don't know how many times you need me to pull this book out.
Does it sit next to your Blu-ray copy of the Snyder Cut?
It has replaced it because that's in the other desk.
I got you.
The one that I don't use to stream. Tula Lote. I mean, I buy almost every Tula Lote cover.
I do
find,
too.
So I get it.
Yeah.
And Hayden Sherman. This is tough. This is a tough one. I might have to choose either Evely or Cagle. Like they're just, even though I buy more Lotte and Sherman covers, just because they do more stuff, they're more prolific.
I like Judy Ba. I love all those Judy Ba.
I do like Judy Ba. Yeah.
They're very weird. Monkey meat, all that stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, Jeff, you want to hit coloring?
Yeah, sure. Best coloring, Jordi Belair.
You don't have to read all the titles.
Let's go through it all. Jordi Belair, Mateus Lopes, Justin Prokowicz, Javier Rodriguez, coloring all his own stuff. Dave Stewart, and
coloring all of Magnola's stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, calling all of Magnolia stuff. And Quentin Zutian, who I've never heard
That
of.
one I had not heard
Yeah,
of.
me either.
I have heard of the Jimi Hendrix book, and the art looks pretty cool. You can, if you can't find it at your store, you can borrow it from Hoopla. That's where I checked it out.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah.
I do like it when Jordy Belair colors a thing.
Yeah, same.
Jordy Belair. I mean, just look at all the titles that I don't know how you do something. I don't know how you're that prolific with coloring.
You know, it only has G.I. Joe and Duke, but I feel like she's doing that half of the Energon stuff. So,
all right, hit best lettering for us, Josh, and I think we might do the Hall of Fame nominees, and that's it, probably.
Okay, yeah. Best lettering, we have Becca Carey, Leela Corman, Clayton Cowles, Emil Ferris, and Nate Powell. Into that pretty
Interestingly enough, no Hassan Otsmane Elhau, who's usually a fixture. Also, Stan Sakai, usually a fixture in lettering.
Interesting.
Just because he's so, I mean, Sakai is like, I don't know, like legend. So, all right. And then we have the nominees. So 6 of these nominees will go into the Hall of Fame for the Eisners. Out of these 18 people, we have Alfredo Alcala, Kyle Baker. Let me know if you've heard of any of these. I know I've heard of Kyle Baker.
I love Kyle Baker. I hope he gets in.
Bob
Bowling.
Bob Bowling.
Yeah.
Bob Bowling.
Eddie Campbell.
Oh, God, these are all good. Ross Chaz.
Dan Klaus. That one I've heard of for sure. Mark Evanier.
Still
Mike
going.
Friedrich. Don Heck, who's passed away. Junji Ito.
Oh, that's nice. Wow.
Goat.
God, can you imagine if Junji Ito gets in?
Yeah, that would be a scary Eisners. Ben Ketchor, Todd Klein, Peter Cooper, Lee Mars, John Romita Jr. Wow. Posey Simmons. It's crazy to see people that are still working here.
Yeah.
On this list.
I wonder what
Leonard Starr. Yeah.
Requirements are. I'd have to go back and read.
Yeah, like how many years out of the WWE do you have to be considered?
Right.
You know? And Rick Veit. So.
Oh, Veit.
So the judges choose 21 inductees for the Hall of Fame.
Man, that's a tough one. That's a really good
here's
list.
The judges. So, all right,
Rob Liefeld.
They said once he can figure out the feet.
Right.
Well, there you have it. Those are your Eisner nominees for 2025. Some of them, we hit some of the big categories. But like I said, just look at this list as a recommended list. Like if somebody missed out, if a book that you love is not part of this, just show them some love. But still, go check out these books. Even Josh's dogs are not. They must be upset about somebody missing out.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know who's the dog reading over there, Josh?
Sorry, I muted so you wouldn't hear him. Yeah.
Are they reading Feral? They like the book about cats.
Feral.
They just keep barking at the cats.
Sorry.
Someone's doing yard work next door, and I think the dogs keep barking at them when they see them. So.
Oh, you know what? They probably like Animal Pound. Yeah. That's who they're rooting for. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Tom King, really depressing book, but it's great. All right, let's move on to our next segment.
Like, talk about RoboWolf.
Previously, yeah, right. Representation for the canines. Before we get to RoboWolf, we got other things to cover. So let's get into our previously on segment. We'll do our watches first, and then we'll close out with comics. Transition from there to the review. I'll kick us off. So, as you guys probably, if you follow me on Letterboxd, or if you're looking at the notes, if you're Josh and Jeff, you know that I'm going through my Mission Impossible journey. On the way to Final Reckoning next week, I have one more movie to watch. In the last show on Sunday, I was halfway through Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which is really, really cool. I also watched Mission Impossible Rogue Nation and Mission Impossible Fallout, which as of right now, is my favorite. I think of the Mission Impossible movies. I still have to watch Dead Reckoning before next week, and then Final Reckoning. Hopefully, I can watch that in the theater right away. So stay tuned. We'll talk more about that. Maybe I'll do a fully ranking on the video on the channel for these once I figure it out. The other movie I went to watch at the theater. Well, I guess the movie I went to watch at the theater. I watched the other ones at home, which I watched them in a very dumb way because I was watching them on Prime Video with commercials, and I realized I paid for Paramount Plus, where I can just watch them without the commercials. And granted, it's only one commercial in the middle, but I was like,
it's still
yeah,
one commercial.
Like 3 minutes on my. Well, I mean, 3 minutes up front and then 3 minutes in the middle of the movie. And then I'm like, I went to watch Mobland, and I was like, oh wait, Mission Impossible movies are on here. What am I doing? Like, what have I been doing? I think it's because on the TV in the living room, I don't have an Apple TV, so I can't just watch all the apps. But anyways, are you guys fans of the Final Destination franchise? Have you seen those?
I've heard of it. I've never.
I love them.
Seen them?
I love them so much.
Are you excited about Bloodlines, Jeff?
I am excited about Bloodlines. I was gonna go try to see it so I have the Alamo app, and it's weird that they don't I don't know how no they do, but I don't know how their app works. I don't know if the individual theaters have to upload what their schedule is to the app or whatever, because Alamo is, it's franchised out. So my local Alamo doesn't upload things until like the Wednesday or whatever before they release them. So I was like, by the time I got to it, I was like, oh, I'll go see it because I'd forgotten about it. And by the time I pulled up the app, they were all like sold out, or you get the really crappy seats left.
You got some kid uploading manually to some spreadsheet to update the app.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna wait till next week to go watch it, but I am excited for it.
Well, I mean, you can go tomorrow. Like, you don't have to wait all the way to next week.
No, I guess unless you wait all the way till next week now.
Unless you're one of those people that thinks that a week starts on Sunday, then I guess that is next week.
That'll be a topic for next week's podcast.
That'll
what
be
day does the week start on?
After we cover is a hot dog a sandwich, then we can cover what day does the week start. But I love Final Destination. I mean, those movies were peak when I was a teenager going to the movies like every other weekend.
Like they're the scariest of all the horror movies, because I've never, and I tell everybody this, I'm not afraid of Jason popping out of a lake when I'm camping, or Freddy visiting me in my dreams. I am afraid of logs falling off of a logging truck and killing me at all times.
Josh, do you ever drive behind those big trailers with the logs?
I mean, I have, and I know of this scene.
So
but again, never having seen the movie, I haven't been scarred by it. So
have you ever been afraid of an airplane blowing up while you're on it, or a roller coaster falling off the tracks while you're on the roller coaster?
No.
So that one I think is my favorite, maybe until this one. 3, not only does it have Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the leading role, the roller coaster sequence is insane. There's some of my favorite kills. Like, it's just like the fun thing about these movies, and I have a full review for Bloodlines, but the fun thing about these movies is like this Rube Goldberg machine of death. Mm-hmm. Like how are these all little things gonna align? Which is not as prevalent on the first one. In the first one, they want to make it feel like death is truly like an entity. Like you see like little, almost like a smoke or like a fog coming in every time death is around. But then they very quickly throw that away, and they're like, no, the deaths are the cool thing in these. Yeah.
It's a very Fast and Furious track to these movies, because the first one's kind of really like grounded in reality as you can get. And then by the second one, they're like, well, what if we play around with it? So by the time the third one is out, the training wheels are off, and they're like, no, we're going whole hog on the Rube Goldberg death machine.
There was one that they did during the peak of the height of the 3D movie. So like a lot of the kills have stuff to do, which doesn't look as cool anymore. It doesn't make a lot of sense now, because like I'm not watching it in 3D. I'm just watching it regularly. So like having all those things kind of come at the screen is weird. But very much like the Mission Impossible franchise, it started off as one thing, and it's kind of migrated and evolved into this other thing. Like the Mission Impossible films, they were not about the big stunt that Tom Cruise might die on, right? It was more about like, this is a spy franchise, and the twists and turns and the masks and the unmasking and whatever. Final Destination, very similar. They figured out people are just here to see very intricate kills. But I think what Bloodline gets right is that it also, the story makes you feel for the characters, because it's about family. It's about a family that's kind of being, chased by this death or whatever. So, also Breck Basinger's in it, who was our star girl from CW. The CW, if you remember that show, she's in the. Well, I won't tell you where she is, but she's in the movie. So
I saw a half episode of that.
I think we watched the whole first season. Josh, are you muted? I think you're muted. Don't worry about the dogs. We can barely hear them.
Oh no, it's actually now they're mowing right outside my window.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we did discuss the first season, which I enjoyed. Yeah. I thought it was great.
I thought it was fun, especially with Kyle and you and Clay really loving Starman.
Yeah.
All right, and then as far as I'll drop a full review for Bloodlines later on the channel, where I'll go a little bit more into detail. But I recommend that. It's probably, if you've already seen Thunderbolts, you should go watch this. It's probably the most fun movie. Other than, I think Friendship's also out. I need to figure out if that movie's playing or anywhere around me.
I was just checking Draft House. It is playing at least.
I've been seeing more trailers, and I feel like it really goes a lot more deeper into the cringe stuff that I don't like as much.
Yeah.
Like somebody asked me why.
It might be a hold off for me, because I think I was excited for it at first, but then I'm like, I don't really like cringe too much.
Yeah. Which is why I don't really watch Tim Robinson's shows. Like I like the clips, but I can only do very little. I can only microdose Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
If you watch this week's studio with Seth Rogen, you'll know the microdosing really comes into play. It's a great show on Apple TV Plus if you're not watching it. But speaking of TV and Apple TV Plus, I watched the first episode of Murderbot. It's the Alexander Skarsgård new show on Apple TV Plus, based on the book series Murderbot something. I don't remember the name, the full name. It's really fun. It's kind of a dark comedy almost, and it's really, really interesting. Like it reminds me of Avenue 5. If any of you guys watch that show on HBO or Max, or HBO Go, whatever it's called. But yeah, it's kind of that sense of humor almost, and then you get to also look at Alexander Skarsgård, so that's quite a bonus. Speaking of good looking leading man, I also watched the first episode of Duster on HBO with Josh Holloway from Lost. If you watch Lost, he's what's the name of his character? Sawyer. And he's also in the Mission Impossible franchise for a little bit, like for a blink and you miss it. But the cool thing is, this show is just about a man driving a really cool car, and it's a crime story in the 70s. It's just, this show is more about the vibes. It's like it feels like I'm reading a criminal book, but it's on the TV. I love crime stories, and it's only going to be 8 episodes. I'm very excited to see where this goes. And I really like I said, Josh Holloway is a great.
Is he? So I'm slowly becoming a fan of the crime of the week genre, but only if the crime is being solved by somebody quirky. Like it needs to be
Natasha Lyonne.
So you're watching the new season of PokerFace?
I'm still watching the first season of PokerFace. Okay. PokerFace is basically Columbo.
Yeah.
That's what they pitched it as, I think.
It's basically Columbo. It's like Murder, She Wrote. But so what is Josh Holloway's? What is his bit?
He actually becomes an informant for the FBI, but his handler is the first female Black FBI agent in the Southwest. So not only does she have to deal with the crime stuff, but also with just the institutional racism that is already part of that.
Oh my God.
In the 70s. But But this show, not only does it have that cool stuff and the criminal element to it, it's got that car, that Duster. Ooh, I'm not a car person, but when I see a cool car, I'm in. Like,
Does it
yeah.
talk?
Well,
Yeah.
you'll have to watch and find out.
Hope it talks.
Is it a secret government developed car? Because I feel like that was a trend in the 80s that I really miss.
I hope it talks, and I hope it's voiced by Harrison Ford.
Yes, right. Yeah.
This is a very
Let's get out of here. Yeah.
I'm too old for this shit. Oh wait, that's Danny Glover. No, this is the 70s, so it was before that trend started, Josh.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Right. It was just cool cars back then.
They do mention that what's the founder of the FBI?
Hoover?
Yeah,
I'm reading a
they're
book
like,
about J. Edgar Hoover right now.
yeah, they were mentioning about how Hoover brought in he started bringing in more black agents just to kind of fill the quota, but he never really gave them any real assignments. Like he was just doing it for appearances. But then they mentioned like, yeah, but now he's dead. Like I can actually do some work. Like I can actually do work now. So It's very cool. It's a very cool show, and it's only 8 episodes, so I think it'll be really, really fun to follow along. So, and then last but definitely not least, I finished season 2 of Andor. Best Star Wars.
I need to.
You need to.
Watch
You both need to finish, catch up, or finish, or whatever.
Start.
And yeah, start, finish, whatever you need to do. Just carve out 24 hours to watch both seasons of Andor. And then carve out another 2.5 hours to watch Rogue One. That's the only thing I haven't done. Now I want to go back and rewatch Rogue One with all this context of Andor behind it. But it's a great show. So that's all I watched. I mean, I watched more stuff. There's my weekly stuff as well, but Next Level Chef is over. I don't know what I'm gonna do now. So I need to fill in my Matlock leaving Thursday nights really left a hole in my schedule there.
Yeah.
Because I would watch.
On.
Yeah, I would watch Matlock, then I would watch The Pit, and now I guess Hacks kind of took over that spot a little bit. Hacks has been really fun this season. Josh Muted said, "Oh, Hacks, I forgot to watch this week's episode," or something like that.
No. Well, yeah, it was. We watched the first episode, and then we keep forgetting to watch it. So,
it's really good. But I do like watching a few at a time because I had 2 in the queue.
Yeah.
So Hacks is a show that's really nice to have watch a few at a time. Yeah.
That's what did it was when we watched. They dropped the first 3.
Yeah.
For the season 4. And we just didn't want to blow through them that fast. So
you're like, let's bank them. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Leonard Kim, I still prefer The Mandalorian, but the back half of Andor season 2 was great. I think the whole season is great. And I don't know. Andor Rogue One's got a special place in my heart. Watch my review of the last episode where I talk about all of that stuff. So let's move on to Josh. I'll let you take a crack at this. What you been watching, Josh?
I actually have been watching stuff, which I know is quite shocking. Probably nothing like super relevant, but we did finally watch Conclave.
What do you think?
Just in time.
Yeah, just in time. It was great. It was really, really good. I saw so many people kind of back and forth on it, like, oh, it's not as good to be like an Oscar nominee or whatever, but my takeaway was for a film that is just characters talking, it is perfectly paced. Like typically those types of films, there's like these moments of drag in it. And I remember like we were totally into it. We just paused to like take a quick like bathroom break and stuff. And I checked where we were. We were like 2/3 of the way through it. I'm like, it does not feel like we're this far in the movie. Like it is a wonderfully edited, paced film. So saw that, loved it. Also happened to watch Saturday Night.
Oh, okay.
Which was also really good. I think a lot better than I expected it to be. My only complaint with Saturday Night is, first off, almost with one exception, the entire cast is brilliant. And perfectly cast. Like I was kind of shocked. Yeah, my thing is I didn't like the actor playing Lorne Michaels. I didn't. There was something about him that just felt very artificial.
He's too likable on like the real Lorne Michaels.
That too. And even down to the fact that like he wasn't doing the Lorne Michaels voice, which I get. I mean, I think you either do it or you don't do it. But there was something about him I really didn't. It didn't click for me. Everyone else in that is amazing, even down to the fact I had to look it up afterwards. You guys have both seen it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you realize the actor playing Jim Henson also plays
Andy Kaufman?
Andy Kaufman? I would never in a million years have guessed that because he is a perfect Jim Henson. Like I was blown away. Like I almost thought, did they hire Brian Henson to play this? Because he looks and acts exactly like Jim Henson. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. I am always a sucker for movies in real time, which this movie is. So anyway,
I think his name is Nicholas Braun, if I'm not mistaken. He was in Succession. He's cousin Greg.
Oh, so yeah.
I've seen from interviews, even like after the movie I watched it. He was only going to play Jim Henson.
Yeah.
And then the actor who was playing Andy Kaufman had to drop out for some sketching stuff. And the director told him, like, because Andy Kaufman has like very few scenes overall until you get to the big scene.
Yeah.
Right. There's a big moment for Andy Kaufman. And then he's like, I'll do it. Whatever, like, because Jim Henson's also, it's a very much of an ensemble movie where there's really not one main character other than maybe following along with Lorne Michaels, right? Because you're kind of following him all night. But yeah, it's really interesting, and it makes you think, like, how did this show even get on the air?
I know.
Yeah.
I do also want to give props to, and I guess this is kind of a spoiler. I did not know Lamorne Morris could sing that well.
But
holy shit, is he a good singer? So anyway, that was really good. And then,
you would have never been able to tell from his performance in Bloodshot 2020.
He was in Bloodshot?
He was in Bloodshot.
Oh my god. Who does he play in Bloodshot?
I don't know. Some valiant character that nobody knows.
Valiant character. The titular Bloodshot. No, I know he's not Bloodshot.
He's not. He might have been a better choice. He might have been a better choice than Vin Diesel. I don't know.
Oh man. Well, yeah, he is great in it. And I remember when the film came out, he was interviewed and said this was a dream role because he really, really was always taken by Garrett Morris because he was like the one black comedian on SNL when it premiered. So and then the only other thing, and I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole thing because my wife found it and I would just kind of sit down for scattered episodes, was 4 Seasons on Netflix. Anyone else see this?
Is that the Steve Carell show in the resort
it's got Tina Fey,
Coleman Domingo's in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a bunch of people in it. It's really good. What I didn't realize is it is based on an Alan Alda movie from the 70s. So it's kind of remaking this Alan Alda movie. No, not MASH, weirdly. But they do a cool thing, which is in the first episode, there is a it's not a wedding, it's a vow renewal.
Funeral. Oh, okay.
And Alan Alda plays the father of Steve Carell. Or maybe it's I'm blanking on everyone's fucking name. Trudy from Reno 911 plays his wife.
Sure. I know I can picture who you're talking about.
Carrie something
like that. Yeah. So anyway, he has no speaking lines. They just cut to him in the audience, and he's just like sitting there smiling. So they kind of right away to bring him in. Anyway, 4 Seasons is really interesting. It's 8 episodes. It is basically 2 episodes per season, hence the name, and it all revolves around this core group of friends who have been meeting on trips together for most of their adult lives. And so every 2 episodes is a different season where they're meeting up again for a different trip. They set up, I think, the core tension of the story in the very first episode, so I don't want to spoil anything. But if you watch the first episode and like it, then you will be hooked and you just want to go in. It has a great cast. Everyone's really, really good. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay. I do want to watch it because Netflix keeps throwing it on my main feed, but it's really hard because like I didn't even know this show. How do I not know about a Steve Carell thing that's coming out?
Yeah, I know.
Weird.
I had no idea.
Netflix is the worst. Netflix is the worst, guys.
If my wife hadn't stumbled on it and just started watching it, I would have had no idea this thing existed. And yet I love everybody in it. So
like even that Mountainhead movie has more publicity. The Steve Carell movie where it's like 4 people on 4 tech moguls on a mountain or something.
Oh right, yeah.
Even that has more PR than this show. And this show has like Tina Fey, Steve Carell, and like I said, a whole bunch of other people.
I mean, it's
you would think I would have heard about it. They're not even on the hot ones. Like, what are you doing, Netflix?
Did Netflix just basically like close their marketing department and then just funnel more of that money back into making stuff?
It feels like they're like, oh, people have Netflix. They'll just watch the next thing.
Right. Exactly.
I think that's what they 100%. They've Walmarted themselves into they've turned themselves into Walmart and McDonald's. Like they're just like they're just there. They're
the problem is, like with Walmart, we also have Target. We have competing streaming services. So I rarely open up Netflix to find something to watch. I go to like usually Hulu first.
And the other problem is that Netflix and Apple, they don't play well together because for most services, things go up in my up next. But Apple, I think they finally are gonna open that up. Whatever, I don't know. I don't know who had closed off, but yeah, Netflix does not show up on my up next stuff. With whenever I start watching something, it won't show up on my up next on my Apple TV. Whereas everything else that I'm watching is on my queue, so like I know what I gotta, I know I gotta watch. I watch next because it's showing me like, oh, there's a new episode of Andor or The Pit or whatever. Like all those things pop up on my phone. But with Netflix, like I'm not gonna enable any notifications from the app itself. But I leave them on for my Apple TV because that's the stuff I'm watching. So yeah, weird. I do need to go on Netflix and just like watch a bunch of things to justify. Well, I guess I watch Raw every week, so it's pretty justified.
Oh, sorry. I did think of one more thing though. It is also Netflix related, and I do want to give props to it. This comes from my daughter who stumbled on. I think she knows of it, and so we watch it. I do love their weekly John Mulaney show, Everybody's Live, and I love it because I think it's a better use of the live scheduled format, right? It's like it's the first thing I feel like we sit down as a family on Wednesday nights to watch because it's scheduled programming. And you don't want it spoiled for you. So anyway,
you put on your television.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm like a teenager.
You put on your cardigan and fire up the old pipe.
Yeah. I feel like they should come up with some kind of slogan for it, like "must see TV" or something.
Right? Yeah. What would
GIW?
I think I don't know. I feel
not
like
TV. It's HB, Netflix, Max.
But like, I've never been a huge John Mulaney fan, but I do love. He takes big swings in this show. So, like for instance, in this Wednesday's episode, he did the whole thing blindfolded. And there was like this adorable like stagehand basically next to him the entire time because he would just start to like turn the wrong direction and he would like turn him back towards the camera, or he would get really up close to like the edge of the stage and the guy would like bring him back. And at one point the guy goes to grab me. He's like, and John Mulaney's like, no, he's like, I know I'm near the edge of the stage. I'm aware. Look, my foot's right there. I get it. Like he was almost like a little frustrated that this guy was like, like, please God, don't fall, like I'm gonna hold on to you. So it's
sorry, I don't want you to
it's
die.
fun. It's good stuff.
Okay.
It is really fun because it is basically like a a very highly produced public access television show.
Yes, that's
There's a
great
call-in
description of it.
portion,
Yeah.
and then there's like weird bits and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it feels very much like a public access TV show,
Yeah.
but with like this incredible budget.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a perfect description of it.
Yeah, I think Jeff, you watched it, right? I think you talked about it maybe a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I will watch. I don't watch it live because I don't believe in television. But no. But I tend to forget it. I forget that it's on Wednesday nights.
Televisions are real though. I have a few at home. I got a spare one in the garage. If you
I feel like Jeff's not real Gen X if he doesn't believe in live television. But
yeah, here's the lie. I'm just not.
We need the audience is demanding a long form birth certificate from Jeff to prove that he is a Gen X.
You guys will never find out. You just want my astrology chart. I get it.
We know your birthday was last week, so I think we can figure it out.
Oh,
we can
happy
figure
belated
out
birthday, man! It's been what 3 weeks since I've been on. Like it's been a long time. So,
all right. Well, speaking of Jeff's birthday, Jeff, what did you watch this week?
I went out and saw the movie Sinners. Michael B. Jordan's shoulders are fantastic.
I need to see this movie.
All
My
four
daughter
of them.
saw it with her friend.
All four of them
raving about it. Yeah.
Your daughter's way cooler than you now, Josh. Just know. Also, I guess she's
put her on the podcast. Like when you can't make it, she's gonna be on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, the problem is usually when Josh can't make it is because he's doing something with his family.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So that would be funny if your daughter canceled on you to be on the show.
To be on the podcast.
And then you're like, "Oh, guys, I'm available now." Like, no. Sorry, Josh.
No, she's here. I'm like just in the background, like
yeah.
like Bernie Sanders.
You're just at some soccer game you don't really even want to be at. Your daughter's not even playing. Yeah, Sinners is great. I love that they're like little hints to it's about adventures with vampires, but they kind of give you like hints to what the vampire lore is in this universe, kind of thing. It's and I did go see it. I mean, I heard it was great, but I also wanted to support Ryan Coogler and his new movie ventures. It's supposed to ruin the movie industry since he's getting the rights back to this movie after like I don't know how 20 years or something like that. 25 years, and that's supposed to ruin the movie industry. But it does feel like it is set up for like this could be a series of things, somehow. Mm-hmm. So and I did not realize that
the credits.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I did not realize that Buddy Guy, is he the one that was in it? He's still alive. Didn't realize that.
Good. Sometimes people are not like. Unfortunately, in Final Destination Bloodlines, Tony Todd is in it, and that was his last film.
Yeah.
So sometimes people are not alive after the movie comes out.
Well, I think B.B. King died years ago, and I remember B.B. King and Buddy Guy are kind of contemporaries. So
yeah.
So it was cool to see because I had like a blues phase in college where I went and listened to a bunch of old blues musicians.
I will say, and this is not a spoiler, this is just more of me being ignorant. The fact that Black people in America were still picking cotton, they were just not being paid for it, even that late into because the movie takes place around the 60s, I think, right? Or 40s?
1930s.
30s. Yeah, even that late into the 1900s.
Yeah, totally
bananas. Like there's a lot more stuff that you just learn from this movie, but I was like, fuck, because you think about it, and I guess you don't think about it, and that's part of the problem. But yeah, it's a great movie. I highly recommend it, Josh. Look, I want you to watch Thunderbolts, but Sinners is a better film. But I do want you to watch. Just go watch both. You have
Haley Steinfeld looks good in the dress
before,
too.
Before summer school starts. Whatever.
I literally have up the Draft House page to hopefully Hazel and I can go see it on Monday.
All right, cool.
So yeah,
keep us updated on that.
You're
talking Thunderbolts, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
double feature it.
And double feature it.
Or sneak in.
I will say this.
It's hard to do at the Alamo, but
yeah, this weekend is back on IMAX too. Sinners is back on IMAX.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh.
Shit.
Is that the new? Is that what they're calling HBO again?
That's what they call movies now. They're not called movie theaters anymore. It's just called IMAX. Theater Max.
I've also started watching. Went back to start watching PokerFace. Because all the TV shows I was watching, they all ended. I was watching the Matlock. It ended, and I went back and I finished all of the Saved by the Bell reboot. Not bad. And so now I'm going back to watching PokerFace, which is a fun crime of the week. Natasha Lyonne is excellent in it. She makes me laugh
So
every single
good.
episode.
It's ridiculous. How can people be
the
that
writing
good?
is really sharp. It's Ryan Johnson. It's
so
so
good. Yeah.
And because it is a mystery of the week, there's usually like every 1 or 2 episodes, there's like a big name that pops in. And you're like, oh, it's this person. So it's always fun when that happens. So it's really good.
I will say if you like Peacock shows, but you don't like watching them on Peacock, Day of the Jackal is now airing on USA as a weekly thing after SmackDown. Because I guess that's a smart business model to like put things you already have made on your cable channels.
Going back to cable, baby.
That's right.
How many cable channels do you have, Danny?
There's so many more now because they give you a bunch of like free stuff. It's not free. They throw in a bunch of garbage on the internet, but sometimes there's like good channels on there, like that are just kind of like, it feels kind of like Tubi or Movie or like those free
Just like fast
freebie
stations.
freebie those free type of channels that are kind of curated, where sometimes they'll just play like old series or old cartoons, but they all come only if you connect because I have Dish. Only if you connect your box to the internet, you'll get like double the channels because a lot of them only via the internet. It's weird.
That's the way to go, baby.
Yeah. We gotta. I love cable. I'll never. You'll have to pry from my cold dead hands.
This is why I don't like. But I don't like Netflix because I feel like Netflix like wants to be your one-stop shop for like all the things, because we've all read the stories about like the president's like, no, we want to produce material that you can just play in the background because
Netflix.
But if they do that, I'm like, you need to change your structure and how you like. You need to put up live channels. And
they
need
live channels. I agree. I agree. Yeah. See, Leonard Kim saying that they were doing the same thing with Paradise. They aired on ABC, which Paradise was one of the more critically acclaimed things on Hulu. So it's not like an FX thing where it airs on FX and then goes to Hulu next day. These are things that are
they start on the app Hulu, or they start on the thing.
No, wait, didn't Paramount do this with one of the newer Star Trek shows? Like it started on Plus.
Yeah,
I think they tried Strange New Worlds, but on the app and they moved it over.
But I think that was during the strike where they were running out of content. CBS has
okay. Yeah, that makes
they have like 10 NCIS shows and CSIs, so they're not running. They're fine. Speaking of Hulu, before we move on to comics, because I think that's where you're going, Jeff. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Welcome to Wrexham is back. I know, even if you don't care about soccer, it's still just such an entertaining show about the town and how much it has changed. We're 4 seasons into this since they bought the team, since Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney bought the Wrexham team. I guess slight spoiler, they've gone up 2 divisions since then, but now they're at a place where even like they've had so much success that it might be unsustainable. So it's a very interesting season. There's a lot more eyes on them. Also, what does the town look like? Because when you're growing as a soccer team, like you have to have infrastructure in like facilities, stadium, all that stuff. It's very, very interesting. But also, they don't want to lose what's really made the team successful, which is the town and the people that support it in Wrexham. You get to learn a little Welsh every once in a while. They throw in a phrase or two.
Awesome. I like that.
There you go. All right.
And I hear that Justin Baldoni's going to be on the scene in the season.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
What a great segue for comics. We may not have time to do a review, so I think we'll just go through the comics that we have and get out of here because we're very close. And there's something else I want to do instead. Yes.
I picked up. This is my favorite comic of the week. It's a lot of people's favorite comic of the week. Exquisite Corpses #1 from Eisner nominated writer James Tynion IV.
God,
Don't worry, Josh. If you didn't get one,
okay, cool.
I
can't remember if I pulled it or not. So,
but it is on box as well. If you
cool. All right,
I'll read it.
I'll grab it there regardless.
Jeff, tell us a
this
little
is
bit about Exquisite Corpses.
Yeah, it's classic Tinian. He's got a whole world that he's built out. Very, very. It's a big book. I don't know how many pages it is, but it feels like
64 pages, triple size.
64 pages. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still only like
I think it's $5.
Yeah, this is $5. This was a variant.
There's other variants that are more expensive, but the
More
book itself, it's $4.99.
Yeah, so that's a great deal. It's fantastic. It's a little. It's your kind of typical Tinian conspiratorial. The government is run by all of the world is run by just a handful of people, and they're playing their rich people games on a small town in America kind of stuff. But a lot of characters, a lot of kind of threads of plot lines that I'm sure will interconnect at some point in time. It reminds me of reading Nice House on the Lake, like that kind of like when you get into that first issue and you're like, oh, this is something big, and you have to kind of keep reading it. It's really good. Artwork's fantastic as well.
What if I told you that every issue will also feature a guest writer, not just Tinian? The art's are going to be done by a lot of it will be by Michael Walsh, but there'll be guest creators on every issue of this. This is season 1 of this book, so I'm guessing they have a big plan for a lot of this. Because I was on Instagram, and issue 4 was revealed, and it was Shay Grayson, who did Dark Spaces Good Deeds, was talking about this was going to be like issue 4 was their issue, and then also you get to see that issue will feature art by Adam Gorham. So the first issue itself is all done by the main team, Tinian and Walsh, who I guess kind of came up with the premise and the story, so they'll be credited probably on every issue. But then they'll have, because there's so many characters, I don't want to give away too much of the story, but there's a lot of very specific characters, and I think each team will come in to feature one of those characters and kind of tell their story. So
yep,
it's very cool. The last thing before we move on, this cover here is a blind bag where you get a card for one of the characters. Now, there's more blind bag stuff this week that came out, but I made a whole video for that. But I saved this one to open it on stream with you guys.
Nice.
So let me do that real quick, and then we'll continue with the rest. So
awesome.
So this is part of there's a card game that goes along with this.
Really?
I think there will be a card game. They really are going on. I don't know how Tinian and the team have enough time to do all this, but here it is, the Exquisite Corpses. Let's see. I don't know. I don't even know what's supposed to be in here. But you know me, I love a good blind bag.
Anthrax.
Oh God, I hope not. So we have, this is just the thing. Here's a little card, and then it's got a different cover. I haven't seen who it is. So this is the main cover. This is a different cover.
That's nice.
And then here is the card that I pulled. It's the Lone Gunman, which is one.
Hey.
So you see how it has stats.
Yeah.
And a skill. Yeah, I think you're going to be able to use these.
That's amazing.
To play in the game. That is so cool.
Like a Pokemon.
Kind of. That's what I pulled. So
you got to collect them all.
Got to catch them all. So yeah, go check out Exquisite Corpses from James Tinian, Tiny Onion, Michael Walsh.
You can use that in one of your Star Wars games.
For sure. All right.
Yeah. Is his ability he can only kill JFK?
It says deal 2 damage to target killer. The killer and each killer beside them are now maimed. Killer cannot attack or block during their next turn. That's what maiming is. So there's 2. So you got a game mechanic and a game effect on this same card.
That's cool.
The stats look pretty good. Attack 5, base, which I don't know what B stands for, and then 13 health, which feels like, kind of like a tank type of character. Yeah. And it just very cool design. So, all right, let's keep going. But I wanted to do this because I was going to clip this part out to a separate video.
We got Batman Dark Patterns, number 6. This ends the storyline, but this book is my second favorite book of the week.
I am totally with you. And can I just say, because I know I haven't been on in a while, how much I'm loving this story. The entire concept of it is just fascinating. And I don't want to spoil anything except just to say, if you are a fan of, oh, good God, why am I blanking on the villain's name? Help me out here, Jeff.
The ventriloquist?
The ventriloquist, yeah. If you're a fan of the ventriloquist, go read this 3-issue arc because it will blow your mind. It's so good.
That's the name you forgot? The ventriloquist?
I know, that was the name I forgot. Well, what's the actual
the puppet's name is Capone, right? I think the name of the puppet is Capone. I think so. It's a play on Capone.
No, it's what was Capone's? It's it was his nickname. I forget what it was.
I'm gonna look it up.
Scarface.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. Anyway,
that's right. That's why I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it's so great because it's like it's not as dark as Seven, like the movie Seven, but it has those kind of vibes of like it's Batman dealing with these like weird twisted Batman villains.
Yeah.
That are kind of amped up just a little bit, so it's a little bit creepier, a little bit more kind of, I don't want to say real world, but just kind of that kind of stuff. I don't know, but it's really good. It's Dan Waters, and he's a great horror comic, so there's kind of that suspense thrillerness to these Batman.
Go read the Creature of the Black Lagoon series, that Image.
It was good.
Exactly.
It was good.
The latest issue of Transformers. This is Transformers 20. Megatron, scary AF in this.
Transformers.
There's a great scene where Starscream has been split in half for most of this series, and Megatron comes back. He repairs Starscream just to kick his ass. Like he's like, he puts Starscream back together. Starscream is like, I love it. Thank you so much. I'm never going to be an asshole to you again. And then Megatron just like beats the shit out of him.
I think one of the greatest things about the Energon universe is taking Cobra Commander and Megatron and making them both genuinely scary and villainous. They've done a really good job at that.
And that's not like the worst thing he does to Starscream in that comic, building him back up just to beat him back down. Like he goes even further than that. And so that's when, and in the last issue, like Megatron shows back up and Optimus Prime is like, we need to get the F out of here. And in this issue, Optimus is like, we need to fortify our shit because Megatron's coming. Mm-hmm. And on the flip side of the book, you're getting why you're so afraid of Megatron. It's awesome. It's a well-written book.
I mean, if you read the last issue, you should be afraid of Megatron too.
Yeah.
How he became who he is. Yeah.
The latest issue of Batman and Robin, number 21, Tom Taylor, also a great issue.
Oh, Tom Taylor's now on there?
Not Tom Taylor. Philip Kennedy Johnson.
Okay, okay. Yeah, Detective Comics is now
Detective Comics. Great story. Also, when I worked at Boomerang and comics, I met a woman who came in, and this is back when Philip Kennedy Johnson was writing Action Comics, and she knew Philip Kennedy Johnson, and apparently he used to play in like an orchestra or something like that. He's musically gifted, and she used to play with him in this orchestra or band or whatever. And in this, there's like a line about a French horn or something, and I was like, I think that's what she said he played, or maybe that's what she played or something. So I was like, because they are in an opera.
Tweet at him.
Yeah,
or
I will tweet at him.
Skeet at him with Blue Sky.
Skeet, God.
Is that what they call it on Blue Sky? Skeeting?
I think so.
Skeeting, yeah.
I think so.
Drizzling.
No.
One World Under Doom, number 4. Great book. Interesting seeing Dr. Doom get his ass kicked from Dormammu.
I love that. I love the reveal last issue when Dormammu was like, wait a minute, is he not doing the one thing he's supposed to do? Oh shit, he's not.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I'm not reading any of the side material. Like I'm just reading One World Under Doom. And apparently I was watching somebody's other YouTube video. But I guess if you're watching all the other, or if you're reading all the other stuff, Dr. Doom is full on evil bad guy Dr. Doom in those. But if you're just reading this, he's not really bad. Like he's not coming across as a bad guy. He's just coming across as like he's Doctor Doom. He wants to rule the world, but he's not necessarily. He's just doing it for the ego boost. Really, is all we've gotten.
He's not bad. He's just drawn that way.
He's just drawn that way. So I think it's interesting that two stories are being told, and I'm honestly not getting one of them of the stories because I'm not.
You're reading Fantastic Four. He's kind of an asshole in that.
Yeah, that's
but
the
it's
only
more. But
you don't get to see as much of him, but yeah.
It fits in more with how he's, I think, portrayed in the One World Under Doom, which makes sense because they're both North. But I'm in the same boat, Jeff. I'm only reading that. I'm not reading all the side stuff. So
but I'm hearing he's worse in like the side stuff. Which
the one with the Hulk book, it's probably the worst one. Yeah, the Red Hulk new book where he's also in, because that's a tie-in. Yeah, it's probably the worst one, I would say.
I did not pick this up on New Comic Book Day, but I got bullied by the internet because I did my this is what I picked up, and I did not pick up any of the Battle Beasts. And people were like, "Bro, you didn't pick up Battle Beast? What's wrong with you?" So I went back and picked it up.
What is wrong
I'm just like,
Jack?
I haven't read Invincible since it first came out. Like, so this is like 25 years ago, or however long it's been that I thought about Battle Beast.
It's
a good comic.
We have a video coming out later on.
Oh,
these are blind bags for Battle Beasts.
He got all the Battle Beasts.
Well, I did. I got a bunch of Battle Beasts, but these are blind bags where you can get a lot of some interesting stuff. If you want to know what's in these, if you want to know what's in these, you got to go check out the other video because I already shot it. I already know what's in here, but I cut them up very. You can see these are open now.
Smart.
So yeah, go check out the video. Will be out sometime this weekend. So if you want to check out what I pulled in my blind bags, you got to go check out another video. Sorry, I only get one reveal today.
I was very pleased to see that Image is keeping the first issue gimmick. That's not a bad price at all. When I was going over my comics that I just read normally, and I was looking at my Hello Darkness. That thing's $6. Like Hello Darkness is a $6 comic.
Damn,
it's about to get cut because it's too much. All right, moving on. Battle Beast is good. It's violent. Whatever. Absolute Batman number 8. Marcos Martin artwork, fantastic.
Yep.
Mr. Freeze is creepy.
Scary.
Batman's a big beefcake. Action Comics 1086. This is the end of G. Willow Wilson's little 2-story arc, Superman in the Arctic.
I might have asked this before. Did you guys know that? Do you know the villain Kilgore?
I'm not familiar with him, but I mean I've probably seen them. And is that a John Byrne person?
I don't know. He looks cool as fuck though.
Is it Kill Gore?
Well, then like a 0 or a percentage sign or something. It's not spelled. It's like show the cover. I think his name is on there, Jeff.
Yeah,
it's spelled with like a percentage sign instead of the.
No, that's not what I'm thinking of. Then all right.
Okay.
It was nice to get those two, like the Mr. Freeze one and this one, because it was like 100 degrees on Wednesday. It's just nice to see like some cold stuff. The latest issue of Uncanny X-Men. I keep thinking I'm going to drop the book, but then I kind of read it, and then I read it and I kind of enjoy it, so I keep going. Gambit's dealing with a dragon, so that's fun.
Is it Shogo, the baby? The baby? Remember Jubilee's kid turned into a dragon at some point? Is it a different dragon?
They do. No, it's a different dragon, but they do reference that in this comic because Jubilee looks at the dragon sadly. Yeah. And then I picked up the new Supergirl number 1, which is not for me, but it was entertaining. But it's
I really like the mystery, but I'm gonna wait to trade weight. I'm gonna trade weight on this, but I really like the whole imposter syndrome kind of story that's happening here in Supergirl.
It's definitely a young adult geared comic. It reads a lot like, and I think I remember reading an article where who is it? Sophie Campbell. She's really influenced by the Supergirl TV show. It had this very CW kind of feel to it. But,
even the art is very like and stuff. Yeah,
it's like Archie a little bit.
I like
it's not bad. It's just not for me.
I guess I can show you the art. This is
there you go. Each their own.
Yeah, that's Sophie Campbell Supergirl.
Yeah.
You know what was something really interesting here? I haven't read much of the old Supergirl, but she uses some kind of comb to color hair brown.
Mhm.
And I think that was a callback to like something that she used to do to like it's something that they're bringing back from the old comics, I think.
That
Yeah,
that
there's
sounds,
definitely a lot of like nods to, especially the 50s.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
that sounds
yeah.
like some
Stuff.
Silver Age fuckery right there. That's a
Yeah,
true
for
sports
sure.
thing.
But
Because
it's really
there's a
cool.
scene where
It's
she
really
has
cool.
like a box full of her old costumes, and
Yeah.
there's definitely like some nods to some Silver Age stuff in that
Yeah.
little scene. Yeah. It's entertaining.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, let me just go through the rest of the stuff. I also read Spider-Verse versus Venomverse because crossovers. I will say the book is okay. But the way that this is presented here, let me show you. Because this book is cool. It's written by two writers. One of them feels like they're writing the Spider-Man part, and the other one writing the Venom part. So a lot of the pages are kind of split down half. But you see the dialogue, like it's the same box for both of them. They're both thinking the same
okay.
thing,
Yep.
except it kind of splits, right? And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of this whole duality like to them, and it's really interesting. It's an interesting concept, which I'll probably revisit once it's done. I don't
Who's the
have
creative team?
Matt Grohm and Kyle Higgins, who did a lot of Power Rangers and Radiant Black stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it's an interesting concept, but I don't have the bandwidth for this verse right now.
For
So
two verses coming together.
yeah, no way. I also picked up the Energon Universe special,
Yeah.
which I still need to read, but I think this was also given out in Free Comic Book Day, but obviously they do more covers, so they got me.
Yeah,
They saw me coming.
I was trying to figure out if those were the same story or not.
They are. Yeah, it's just a different.
they
it's
are?
A,
Then
it's a special cover. It's a special cover, or I guess variant covers. That's all.
Well,
really.
I'll save the $5 then. I guess because I picked up the Free Comic Day one. I don't need the special cover.
Yeah.
I realized earlier this week that I still had not, because I had all my free comics in a stack in the corner, and I just completely forgot about them.
Yeah.
And so I finally went back and started reading them, and I was shocked and impressed and overjoyed to see Matt Tracker pop up in the Energon universe. Matt Tracker from Mask.
Really?
So that was my reaction.
I haven't read it yet. Hang on, let me grab this because I love me some Mask.
Here, we'll just read it live right now.
Yeah. So he pops up in it, and I was so shocked that nobody else, like, it was the first time I had seen it. It had been a full week, and nobody was talking about it. And I brought it up to the guy in the comic shop, and he's like, "I don't know if Mask moves the needle as much as you think it might these days."
Oh yeah, on the G.I. Joe story, right?
Yeah, the G.I. Joe story. Yeah.
There he is,
Matt Tracker.
Wait, show it again. I missed it. I'm sorry.
Well, you're gonna have to watch the replay. You're gonna have to watch the replay of the show, Josh.
That's fine. That's fair. Look at that. That's so cool. All right.
Well, you have to read the whatever latest issue of G.I. Joe, because that leads directly into the free Energon universe.
Yeah.
Comic. So I forget
I
the
know
character,
what
but
happens at the end.
Yeah. So they go and meet Matt Tracker, the G.I. Joe, and this Transformer. But it's like the same way they do everything in G.I. Joe, where they're like, "Hey, you," and you think you're about to meet a new G.I. Joe character, and he refers to him as Tracker, and I think there is a G.I. Joe named Tracker, and so I'm like, okay, so it's this new G.I. Joe Tracker guy, and then they show the helmet, and I'm like, but that's not. And then I was like, but that's the helmet for the fire guy, and his name isn't Tracker, so I don't know what that helmet is. And then they call him Matt Tracker, and I was like, oh, that's the mask guy.
I am so fucking.
I love security for you, Jeff.
Yeah. It was a long. I was excited.
All right. Wenpool number 1. What is old is new again, and here we are.
Why does that look so?
It's actually a pretty cool comic. I'm gonna lie.
Oh, really?
Kevin Scott wrote it. It's a lot more Wenpool-y. Like this is how they get you to buy the book, but this is actually a Wenpool book, like the Wenpool that you know and love.
Okay.
She fights Fing Fang Foom in the first few pages, so if you want to at least check that out. I haven't read this one, but I did get the Godzilla vs. X-Men.
That was on my poll, yeah.
Yeah. And then the last two things, Ultimate X-Men. I got 2 coverages because this one was very cool. So the last thing I'll show you, somebody came into Sanctuary with a collection, and I was there when it was happening, and I guess these were books that were not like, they're not really worth a lot, but Sean, the owner, told me, like, if you see anything in the pile and you want to take it, go for it. So I picked up this Dracula versus Zorro.
Oh,
nice.
Which I just really like the cover, that it's not, I don't know if it's like a glow in the dark or anything. It looks like it might be. Because there's I can see outlines of a lot of stuff. Obviously you guys can't.
yeah.
Other than the eyes. But then I also saw this, and I really just liked it because of the cover. This Droids book.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like these are like embossed in here or something.
Oh,
that's
nice. That's
amazing.
awesome.
That's
And
beautiful.
then whoever bagged and boarded this, I didn't realize that they also had the Teen Titans Annual in the back. I just grabbed it because of this one, but
Yeah.
this was also in the back. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, very cool. Big shout out to Sanctuary. They got a big collection in. So maybe if you're looking for old comics, they got so much stuff you should check out. So all right, that's our show. We've gone over time, but I think we'll save the review for another time. Anything else, you guys, before we get out of here? Okay,
the Dallas Stars might win the Stanley Cup later.
That's pretty interesting. That comeback from a couple weekends ago, maybe last weekend, incredible stuff, because they were losing badly. And I don't even watch sports. I just know because I was at a friend's thing and they were watching it. I was like, oh, cool. I'm leaving. They're losing by 4. And then I get in my car and they're like, we won. We won. Yeah. So
that was a crazy night.
That was a crazy night. Okay. Well, stay tuned. We got a bunch of things coming up. Like I mentioned, reviews for Final Destination, Duster, Murderbot, and then also the big Battle Beast unboxing, unbagging, blind bagging, whatever.
Battle Beast.
Battle Beast. It's a pretty cool book too, especially if you actually do like Invincible. You might enjoy it even without the context of the show or the cartoons, Jeff.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
And if Josh watches Thunderbolts sometime in the next few days, maybe we'll talk about it next week.
I'm going to go talk to Hazel as soon as we're done, see if she wants to see it on Monday.
If you need me to talk to her, let me know.
Will do.
I'll put in a good word. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
The most important thing in life will always be
El Bebo.
Twitter loves you.
Simon Center, get the fuck out.
All right. Bye-bye.
Get out of here.